and welcome to Illuminating the Paranormal, opening your mind to the possibility. How is everyone this evening? Just to let you know, if you want, you can hop on over to paraxradio.com/chat so you can join us and chat with us there. And I hope you're all doing very well this evening. Well, we hit a high of 73 degrees in the Midwest today. Stop laughing, Bob. I'm on day 22 of self-isolation. And yeah, I'm going a little, okay, maybe more than a little crazy. But hey, I want you all to know that I showered for all of you today and actually put on real clothes. And in fact, I actually sat outside today in the sun. And I was pretty sure that my white legs were a little more blinding than the sun. Yes, I have the Northern Indiana blinding white leg syndrome right now. I did try to make it to Florida before all this virus stuff started to change, but, well, you know. So maybe later this year. Just so you guys know that tonight I have with me a fellow investigator, and his name is Bob Cenkner. Bob, did I say that correctly? I hope I did. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to think of you as Bob Cenkner the rest of the night. Bob Cenkner. Okay. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, guys. Well, just to let you guys know that Bob has been doing investigating for well over 20 years now, and he is with several different teams. He is with the Florida Ghost team. He is also their historical locations manager, and he is also the co-host of a radio show called The Buzz on ztalkradio.com, and is currently the owner and host of Paranormal WaveLengths. That's a long-standing podcast, and it also has a YouTube channel. And Bob is a great investigator. I know because he's the are we a boyfriend or fiance of Tina? Okay, just boyfriend. Okay. And Bob, I think she is actually on her show right now on Z Talk. I think they have their show tonight, so maybe she didn't hear that. But good friends with my friend Tina from Canada. She's also another great investigator. I know that you have done some investigating with her and with some of the other crew from the Paranormal Mysteries. But so you're in Florida right now. And tell me, what's the weather like down there? No. I saw that. I saw your little, you came online and did a little video, and it wasn't raining. It was a straight downpour behind this man, but it cooled you guys down, and it got that grass finally wet, because weren't you guys having fires and stuff down there? Yeah, yeah. Wow. Crazy. Good, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. It was actually warm enough this weekend for us. We actually went outside and got all of our yard work done. And as soon as it's warm enough, I can finally plant some stuff. But yeah, it's been really chilly and cold. In fact, today was the highest at 73 that we've had in a long time. And, you know, next week it'll probably be, in fact, to my knowledge, we're supposed to have rain, snow showers next week. So, yeah, welcome to the northern Midwest, people. That's what it's like. Certainly. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can't have that. Well, let me get back in here. Yes, you are on, but let me try something here. Okay, there we go. All right, go ahead and talk, sir. Apparently there was one more button to be pushed, and I apologize about that.
Can everyone hear me now in the chat room? So I'm not silent, Bob.
I sometimes forget to push that little tiny button that says DSP on it, so sorry about that. All right, guys. Yes, Bob should be here now. You guys should be hearing him. He said that it was really extra hot in Florida, but they did have some rain the other day, so it cooled down a bit. But there were some fires down in Fort Myers where at the airport, and it burned up a bunch of the rental cars. So good. We got Bob back in here. Sorry about that, sir.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Anybody that ever saw my Paranormal WaveLengths show when I did it live back in like 2009 and that, oh my God, that was part of the show fun, what technical difficulties I would have. My guests not talking, my guests not coming in. You can't see me, but you can hear us.
Right. Yes. So
I understand
it. So, as a fellow investigator, you've got to be climbing the walls like I am. So, what will be your first investigation or place to ghost hunt as soon as our time of isolation is over?
You know, it actually makes me sad. I was going to come up north. I don't do a lot of events up north. And I was going to come up to, God, where
Ashmore?
was it?
Ashmore?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the charity event for suicide awareness.
Yes.
Nobody knew I was coming except my girlfriend Tina, because I wanted to surprise a good friend of mine, Scotty Rourke. I haven't seen him about 4 years in person, so I was just going to surprise him.
Oh, yeah, Scotty and I are good friends too. So, that would have been so cool. But I know that Robin said that there just is no more time the rest of this year. All his weekends are booked. So maybe next spring we can do it.
Yeah, it's hard. People always ask me, why don't you do more events up north? I go, first off, just to get out of Florida, it takes me almost 4 hours just to drive out of Florida.
Yeah.
It's not like when I go and visit Tina in Canada, we this was last year. I hit like 3 different states in a 3-day span. I was in Canada, then we went into Michigan, investigated there, went to Indiana, investigated, and then I think we went to Ohio with Paranormal Mystery. I was all over the place, but it was so quick to drive everywhere. Yeah. It was crazy.
Because I think Tina is only like 3.5, not quite 4 hours from me north. Because I am that far north in Indiana. I am less than 5 miles from the Michigan border. So I am way up there too.
Well, we went to the Monroe House.
Yes.
A friend of hers, her husband, her friend on our PO3 paranormal team, Margie, her husband rented a place out, Monroe House, for her birthday.
Nice.
And she could bring friends, so they brought Tina and myself. So we were there all night investigating with them, just the 4 of us.
Nice. Now, that is on my list. I was supposed to go 2 different times. I have been booked to go there. I had tickets, and each time things fell through. So what is Monroe House like? What happened for you guys there?
It was really cool. It was the one weird thing is, though, they were really big on promoting Ouija boards. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, they had Ouija boards all over the place. They had a huge coffee table Ouija board. And I don't know why I don't know if they were just collecting them from all over the place. But the guy said he was buying stuff and putting haunted things in there, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a good combination because you don't know where some of this stuff is coming from, but I was excited because I was like, oh, maybe something crazy will happen. But
yeah, well, it's usually when they start bringing stuff in is when stuff starts showing up.
You don't know what's attached to some things.
Exactly. That's so true. The only other time I'd ever seen a table like that was, the Rolfe House in Watseka, Illinois. They call it the Wonder House. They have a really big Ouija board table there too. But the gentleman who owns it's very big into Ouija boards too, and part of the history of the house is surrounded by Ouija boards and seances and that stuff from the Victorian times. So I could see why he had one. Wasn't super thrilled with it, but since that time I've learned that Ouija boards are a tool, just like a pendulum, just like having a K2 meter, or even your own recorder. They're all just tools of the trade. Learn how to use them and learn how to use them correctly, and you'll be safe. Or pretty much safe.
Yeah, pretty much safe. It depends how you protect yourself and just how you use it. Sometimes it's the years ago. I always tell the story about Scotty Rourke and myself. We were in Pensacola, Florida. It was like 2011.
Okay.
And we were on a panel of people that were there, guest investigators and all that. And people were asking questions. And they were asking, someone asked, do you feel a Ouija board is evil? Mm-hmm. And me and Scotty are like, no, the Ouija board itself isn't evil. And there was a lady on the board on their panel. I don't remember who she was. She was a psychic medium, but she was so determined. Nope, the Ouija board's evil. We weren't being rude. We were just trying to have a conversation. We're like, why do you feel it's evil? And Scotty and I are saying it's usually the intention of the person using it sometimes. And my thing is, what do you associate a Ouija board with? Negative energy. Because movies, TV shows, sometimes subconsciously you might not even be thinking negative, but you might be putting some negative energy out into the universe because your main thought, most people's main opinion is negative stuff happened with a Ouija board. So that's what we were trying to say. Boy, this lady gave Scotty the worst stink eye. He joked about it all weekend. Yeah. But then by the end of the weekend, she was talking with Scotty and everything. But it was just funny because we weren't being rude. It was just a regular, your opinion and our opinion. We're just giving each other. We weren't saying she was wrong. We were just trying to explain our side. But it was funny. But yeah, I don't think Ouija boards are evil at all. I think it's, like you said, it's just another tool. Yes. And it's not that they're evil. You might attract more negative energy if you're not using it right. I tried the Ouija board at the Monroe house with Margie. Okay. I hadn't used one since I was like 16, and I was a moron back then. Because
we all were. It's okay.
It's because we're using it, and these girls were using it. They were friends of ours, and they're like, "Oh, what's my next boyfriend's initials going to be?" And the one girl, I already knew she liked my buddy. His initials came up. So then the other girl, I knew she liked me. Well, what's my next boyfriend? My initials come up, and I'm like, "Oh, what a bunch of crap! This isn't real." So then supposedly they had someone. They were talking with someone, and I like, well, it was in that. I'm 49 years old, so I grew up in the 80s horror time. Freddy Krueger was brand new. So me being 16, I'm all like, oh, because they were giving messages. Don't talk to him like that. He doesn't like it. And I'm like, oh, if he's that bad, I give him permission. Come in my dreams tonight, and we'll see what happens. Because Freddy Krueger thing was real big. Now I think about it, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of stupid because I some of the stuff I know nowadays, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
But I hadn't used one in a long time.
I have to say, I have seen other people use them. I have not used them. I've always been a pendulum person. But learn how to use these tools. A lot of people will pull out the Ouija board and use it, and invite whatever may be around them to speak to them or to come into their area, not knowing what may be there. I mean, what are you inviting in? But the problem is one, they don't know how to control the situations or when to walk away, and they don't know how to close them. And then it's no longer a tool, then it's something that you need to be leery about because you're not using it correctly.
Yeah, that's funny. I was going to say the same thing about closing.
Yes.
Tina told us what to do. I wasn't a big knowledgeable how to use them, but Margie wanted to try it, and I was like, I'll try it. Honestly, my opinion, I don't know if it really works, because in my head, I think subconsciously I'm moving my hand, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Almost like when people use dowsing rods.
Yes.
I've tried them before. My friend uses them quite a bit, and I can't explain how he uses them because I've videoed him, and his hands don't turn at all, and these things are moving and answering questions.
Yeah.
But in my head, I don't know if you remember the K2s. The old ones used to have a button. You had to hold your thumb on it.
Thumb down. Yeah, or people would shove a quarter in there to hold it down.
But if you held your finger there, after a while, your finger starts getting tired, and it starts blinking, and you're like, oh, my God, I think I'm getting something. I'm like, hold on, I think my thumb's just getting tired. And then, like you said, you started putting coins in.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, just sometimes I worry that we, as investigators, we contaminate a lot of our own evidence. We don't even realize it.
Right.
I mean, I just started realizing I've got two boys. Well, I have 4 kids, but my 2 boys, one's 20 and one's 16. They've been investigating with me.
Okay.
And anyone that knows me knows I'm not very tech savvy. I can use equipment, but when you get into terminology and all that, I'm kind of like, okay, you know. But we went on an investigation, and my son brought a headset, and he plugged them into my recorder. I go, what are you doing? I can listen to it real time. I'm like, my recorder does that? Yeah, he gives it to me. I'm like, it was like a super mic. You walked around, you could hear everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were in this abandoned 7-story hotel down in West Palm Beach with a friend of mine, Scotty Burns and John Zapp. They're War Party Paranormal.
Okay.
And we were investigating with them, and my son's like, Dad, I can hear someone talking. I'm like, you can? I don't hear nothing, but he had the headset on. I go, let me listen to it. So I put it on, and sure, you could hear, if I knew where people were, they were down the hallway, around the corner in a room. Mm-hmm. And I could tell the voices who it was. And I'm like, holy crap. I couldn't hear them without the headset. And this is just a Walmart recorder. I see these people bring out these super mics. Yeah. I'm like, man, you're going to hear the guy 2 blocks over in the alley throwing up or farting or something. That mic. That's why I wonder sometimes when I see people do these events and you have like 30 people in a building, a 2-story building, 15 are upstairs and 15 are below. Yeah. And then everyone says, oh, we got like 30 EVPs. In my head, I'm thinking, I guarantee half those are just the people. You don't hear it with your naked ear, but they don't realize how strong the mics are on these little, a cheap recorder compared to some of the expensive ones people buy.
Oh yeah, no, and that's one of the reasons I really don't like doing public events. I will go and help with a public event, but if I'm going to investigate a place, no more than 4 people, 5 at the most, and then I'm happy because then we could go in groups, tiny groups, and we can control the situation better. So, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I used to do a lot of guest investigating, doing events.
Yep.
My biggest thought was if one person walked out of there learning something, I was happy. But I didn't treat it like I treated it in one way, like a real investigation, showing what we did. Yep. But in my head, I wasn't going to go over any of this evidence because there was people walking all over the place talking, and I would call it out. I'd be like, that's other team members. The next floor up, I can hear them. And people are like, why do you say that? They don't do that on TV. I go, well, let me tell you. The TV shows, I've got friends that have been on these shows, so I don't ever badmouth them. Right. I tell people, you got to realize the TV shows are for entertainment. A lot of the stuff they do, we do use equipment like they do, but you got to remember it's entertainment. It's not a lot of the stuff that happens that you see in that 15-minute episode. That could have been a 3-day to a week investigation that they finally got stuff. I explain that to people. because some people, they're paying $45 to investigate, and they think it's going to be an amusement park ride. Stuff's going to be popping out, and it's going to be like you see on TV. And then I have to I explain to them a lot of those things you see, the 15-minute episode, they could have been there 3 days to a week, and that's all they got was 15 minutes.
Right.
And cause I feel bad because some people get all PO'd. Well, nothing happened, and I'm like, this isn't a circus. We're not going to parade the spirits out to do tricks for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Well, Bob, we do have a question in the chat room. Tabby is wondering, is it better when you can either pair off or be in a very small group?
It depends how big the location is. I've paired off, like you were saying, I like to keep the minimum, try and keep 6 people in a group. If there's, say there's 12 people there. I did a mental hospital down in near Miami, and this place was mammoth. So you just keep track. I went to like the north wing. They went to the south wing. There's no way we can contaminate each other because we were so far away from each other.
Right.
But I always believe in, if not to go by yourself, always pair up with someone. And not because, just because, you have a chance of getting attacked by a spirit. You could just get hurt falling or something, in the dark, and you're all alone. How is anyone going to know? That's the biggest thing. Why you should always be paired up with someone, in case you never know. I wasn't there at the time when I was on Florida Ghost Team, but we were in an abandoned hotel, and someone bumped against this fencing, and a piece of sheet metal fell, split this guy's arm wide open, blood everywhere. They had to rush him to the hospital, but they were in groups. But if he would have been by himself, before anyone knew anything, you could have bled out, So that's the biggest reason. Stay in pairs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I had that, not for myself, but the second time I was at Waverly Sanitarium, we were there. It was only 8 of us, and 4 of us were up on the 3rd floor, and 3 were in the death tunnel, and 1 was back, kind of like monitoring everything on the, on the video and stuff. So all of a sudden, I got somebody running down the hall towards us going, we need you, we need you. Somebody in the other team, thank God they had people there. He was walking down the death tunnel, but no light. All he was using was his nighttime vision on his video camera, and he rammed his leg into a piece of rebar. And then he backed up, and the minute he backed up, that was it. They literally hit the one guy, ripped off his shirt and wrapped it around and tied it as tight as he could, and that's probably what saved that man's leg. So stay with a friend, people.
Another incident just happened in February when Tina was down here in Florida. We got invited to do the Riddle House in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
And one lady, we had I'll admit, we kind of stirred things up in the Riddle House a little bit. And I warned this other group going in. I go, just be careful. Things were going on. The spirits were kind of bothering Tina. So we were I'm not a provoker, but I'm not going to let a spirit disrespect, a medium or something, So we were kind of telling it needed to back off, blah, blah, blah. So we left. So there's other groups going in. And I told them, hey, just be careful. Things are a little wound up there. Tina had to come take a break. Oh, no problem. Not even 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. They had a younger boy with them. He was probably like about 15, 16. Comes out of the house screaming. I'm in another location. I hear people screaming. I'm like, what the frig? Go running out there. The investigator had a mass seizure. Went down, slammed off the floor. So people were going in there. I told everyone, I didn't tell everyone, but we were going over there. I was like, I don't think we all should go in the house because, first off, I work with special need adults that have had seizures, and you don't want to surround them. You want to give them some airspace and enough room if they're kicking around. Yeah. So Tina went in, to help out, and when she came out, my friend John, that was him and Scotty were running the event or the investigation. He asked her, he goes, hey, what do you feel? Do you feel it was just natural, or do you think something may have caused her, And Tina said she could feel the energy in it, that it was both something natural, something said it wasn't happy. So I felt bad now. I'm like, oh, we kind of stirred it up. But that's another reason. I'm just giving that example of that just happening. That's why you always go with a buddy or a couple people, because imagine she would have been there by herself. Right. Would have been there to help her. But I do know someone just asked in the chat room, though. You don't mind me reading questions out of the chat room, do you?
Nope, you're fine.
Okay, let me go back.
Is there ever a time? Yeah.
The Zach Bagan thing about how he puts air in. I've done that, but usually I call it your trigger object or bait. And I've done that before, stayed in a room by myself, but everybody knows I'm in there. They might be down the hall or something.
Right.
So I'm not just wandering by myself. It's a what do you want to call it? A pre-thought out thing. It just, you didn't wander off in the building by yourself. We actually put you there to be a trigger object. That's a lot what Zach does with Aaron, because Aaron's energy is so off the chart. He's like the light. He's the little light in the darkness that they come to. So that's why he puts Aaron by himself a lot. That's what I feel.
Yeah, and Sherry does make a very good point. She said, it scares me to think that some people may think that that's a technique to use to leave people somewhere like a trigger object, and just to see what they get later on their recorders or on their video cameras. But please, people, be aware of where your people are, even if they're not right beside you. And if you're doing something like that, have a predetermined set time that you're coming back to check on them, or just be, like Bob said, just down the hall. So if they yell or they need help, you're right there.
Yeah, there's protocols to follow.
Yes.
And the biggest thing is someone putting their, safety in that. And I that's why I tell people, I don't think there's any wrong way to investigate. You can pretty much bring any equipment out, anything you want. Doesn't mean everything's going to be paranormal evidence or, that it's paranormal happening. But you have to follow the protocols to keep the contamination down and just keep everybody safe. Because I had a friend, she brought out a taser. Like a little hand one. I'm down the hall walking. I was checking something out. And I start walking back. I hear chicken. I'm like, what the freak? I start moving faster because there's no power in the place. Yeah. And I come around, and she has her taser out. And she's hitting the thing. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know. I had the idea. Tase the air around us, or the atmosphere around our area, to kind of charge it up to see if something can manifest. I'm like, well, that's kind of a cool idea. It's different. I go, just don't hit nobody in your group.
Yeah.
She started laughing. I'm like, but it was different. It was a different idea,
Mm-hmm. I was at Rhodes Hotel, and somebody had built something very similar to that, where it looked like two big TV antennas, and it was, the base was some sort of electrical equipment, but when they turned it on, it actually had those little electrical arcs that went up the two poles, like the TV antennas, and then it would get to the top and it would go. It charged the air around, but anybody who could feel, we all got headaches, sick to our stomach, because we were affected by it. It was like basically turning the whole house into like a what do they call it? Like a fear cage, or one of the. It just, the whole thing was it was too much.
It was too much EMFs.
Yes.
And some people are more sensitive to them. Yeah, I think it was called. Isn't that called like a? I think it's called a Jacob's Ladder. It looks like almost like a Frankenstein thing.
Yes.
Yeah, a friend of mine brought one of those out, and I only, like you said, I only stood there for a little bit because I started not feeling good, and I think it was because the EMFs that were coming off it were just messing with me. Mm-hmm. But I was just reading something someone put in the chat room about provoking. I'm not a provoker, because I feel you should respect the spirits. Now, like I said, though, Scotty and I weren't provoking. We were just standing our ground because the spirit was starting to mess with Tina. Mm-hmm. She's a psychic medium. And we were just kind of telling them, hey, we didn't give you permission. We're trying, we're being, I usually tell the spirit, I'm being respectful to you. You need to be respectful back to us. And then Tina would be like, they told you to pretty much F off. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I don't get into I know they're talking about Zach does a lot of provoking, but honestly, it goes back to you're on TV, he has to be entertaining. Anyone that has been investigating for a while, I always tell people when I do a lecture or a Paranormal 101 thing, I tell people paranormal investigating is like fishing. Half the time, it's really boring. You're sitting there. You really have to have a passion for it. Mm-hmm. And just like fishing, at times you'll get that hit on the line, your adrenaline starts pumping, things start happening, and then it's quiet again, and you sit around asking your questions and stuff. And you can tell the people that actually have a passion for it and the people that are trying to make a name for themselves, because if things aren't happening for them quick enough or things aren't going on, they're usually gone within a few months. Mm-hmm. Because it honestly, at times, it is boring. Yep. I mean, it isn't boring to me because usually I have good company, people I like to investigate with, talking and doing things,
right,
sharing ideas.
Exactly. Well, Bob, I am going to take a few-minute break here, and when we come back, I have a couple more questions I'd like to ask you. So, everyone, you are listening to Illuminating the Paranormal on ParaX with our guest, Bob, and we will be back in just
your source for everything paranormal. ParaX.
Hey, this is Lee.
And this is Michelle.
And this is Dustin from the Dead Zone.
Your source for everything paranormal. ParaX.
I found it at last! Marla's Sacred Cauldron. This is the legendary artifact that has been whispered about in hushed tones for hundreds of years, and now it's mine! All
mine! Who dares defile the sanctity of my castle walls? Step away from the cauldron, you impertinent, muddy-metaled maltworm.
Never! I've spent half my lifetime trying to discover your age-old secret of stirring the cauldron.
Oh, for Merlin's sake, that's no deep, dark secret. Just tune into the ParaX Radio Network Thursday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern for more cauldron stirring than you can shake a wand at.
Oh, well, in that case, I guess I don't need to take up any more of your time, so I guess I'll be going.
Not just yet. We've got a little unfinished business to take care of.
That's Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on the ParaX Radio Network.
Welcome back, everyone, to Illuminating the Paranormal. My name is Tina Marie, and my guest tonight is Bob Cenkner. Was that better? Did that come out better?
That's perfect.
Oh, wonderful.
Did you press the button?
It should still be going. Everybody hearing Bob? He's no longer Silent Bob, is he? Pretty sure everybody should be able to hear you, sir. They're probably still hearing our commercial, and they should be back any second because there's a small lag. But let's see. I did have a few other questions for you, sir. And I see. There's actually a question here in the chat room. Sherry would like to know, has Bob ever tried a Fitzroy storm glass on investigation?
I'll be honest. I don't even. What is that?
I am going to say the same thing. I don't think I have heard of that one. Sherry, is that something that's new? Maybe you can send me some more information on that. I will have to say I probably haven't because I'm not familiar with that term or that piece of equipment, and or I have used it and didn't know that was the name of it. So, and yes, they are hearing us just fine. That's good.
I was going to actually joke and say I usually don't like to drink on investigations. Because that was like a shot glass or something, you know?
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you, sir. I'm down to Florida at least once or twice a year. So where is a good place to go and hunt or investigate in Florida?
The best place to go, it's right near St. Augustine. It's the Clay County Jail and Courthouse.
Okay.
And it's called the Clay County. It's in Green Cove Springs, Florida. I guess it was on Ghost Hunters a while back.
Okay.
And I know the Wraith Chasers just did an event there before the coronavirus hit. But I've investigated that place probably 6, 7 times, maybe 8 times, I'm not sure. And every time we go there, it doesn't disappoint. We always get some type of evidence that I know for sure there's no... When I go through evidence, if I'm listening to it and I have an if in my head, like, well, what if so-and-so was in the area? What if... I usually toss it out because I'm like, it could have been contaminated. But I've gotten so much evidence, EVPs, and personal experiences there. It's just phenomenal. And it's only... I think it's $40 per person to investigate both locations for the night. And they're right across. You got the jail on one side, 2-story jail. I think there's about 12 jail cells at least, maybe 14. And you walk across a little field. I could probably throw a football from the jail to the courthouse.
Okay.
Back in the day, they used to put people in the jail. Then they go across the field to the courthouse. If you were convicted, you didn't make it back to the jail. You stopped at the field where the big tree was, and you were hung.
Oh.
So it's a very, very cool location. If you don't mind, I can tell you a quick story, a medium story. Tina was there.
Certainly.
It was her first investigation she did in Florida. And even though she's my girlfriend, I'm always, I don't want to say screwing with mediums, but I'm testing them. Because I'm still on the fence about them, so I like to control the environment. I didn't tell Tina where we were going, any information about the place. So we get there, she's doing her thing, and we're in the courthouse. And I told her, I go, listen, I always tell when mediums are with us investigating, if anything pops in your head, a name, an image, a date or something, just say it out loud. Just start saying it out loud. And she's like, why? I go, I'd rather have it now on my record. Now you saying it, and then if I catch something on my EVPs later, or it goes with the history of the place, you're not saying it. Oh, I had that in my head, because most people are like, oh yeah, right. Now you have it in your head after we give you the information. Right. So we get in the courthouse. We're doing just a walkthrough. We call it an EVP, a psychic sweep. I just walk with her, or somebody walks with her videoing. She's doing her thing. All of a sudden, she goes, Michael. And I'm like, why are you saying Michael? She goes, I don't know. There's a guy here in the courthouse, and the name Michael keeps coming up. So I was like, all right. So we do some more. We go out on the grounds. We're walking around, and she's talking about a little girl out on the grounds. And she's like, yeah, Michael won't come out of the courthouse because this little girl's out here, and she won't go in the courthouse because of him. So I'm like, why? She goes, the message I'm getting is Michael was convicted of lewd and lascivious act. She didn't say that. She said he was convicted of molesting this little girl.
Okay.
I was like, really? So they go in the courthouse. I go over to the jail. They have archives.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a little book, about 18 pages of people that have been convicted there of things. So I go over there and I start looking through the book with this lady, Gwen, and we find a Michael convicted, I think it was like 1967, a lewd and lascivious act against a minor.
Wow.
And out of the 18 pages, he was the only Michael. I actually, if you go to my YouTube page, Paranormal WaveLengths, I have it on there. That investigation's on there of Tina talking, Michael, and her actually saying it. And then I videoed myself. I ran over by myself and did that talking with Gwen. And it was. I mean, the hair on the back of my neck just stood up because I was like, it's not an awesome event that happened to this girl, but it was awesome that Tina was getting these messages, and it went with the history of the location, you know?
Nice. Very nice, yeah. Now, isn't there a lighthouse in St. Augustine's that's supposed to be haunted too?
Yeah, but you don't want... Well, I don't want to say nothing bad, but it's very expensive.
Okay. It's a tourist trap.
Yeah, and like they were going to let us come in there, my team, for at the time, I haven't looked in a while, but back in the day, it was like $2,000 to get in there for 5 hours. I was like, I told the lady, I go, I'm a nonprofit organization. Yeah. Oh, we know, sir. It's like, so I've never investigated the St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Okay. Just
because it was so expensive. That's why to do the courthouse and the jail for $40 a person, and all the money, the money goes for to keep their archives up.
Okay.
And maintenance and that, which I think that's awesome. Because I think some of these places, just because they were on TV, I think they pay way too much sometimes.
Yeah.
So but yeah, if you're coming to Florida, you definitely go there because that place.
Okay.
For how much money you're spending is great, and that one you gotta book way ahead of time. It didn't used to be. I used to be able to get in there any time because no one really knew about it until it went on Ghost Hunters. Then all of a sudden everybody knew about it. I was like, oh crap! Now I gotta do like 6 months ahead of time.
Yeah, there's been several different places that I've gone to that we thought was really cool, and then all of a sudden it's on one of the ghost shows, and then, like you said, it's like 6 months before you can get back in there. So, what you thought was a great find turned out to be part of a TV show one day. So,
yeah.
Oh well.
And I didn't know about it until someone told me because I used to watch the shows in the beginning, like way back when Ghost Hunters first came out. So I was just like, crap, people actually do this. And people have asked me, do you think paranormal shows are bad for the field? I'm like, no, I don't think they are, because if there weren't these paranormal shows, we wouldn't get in a lot of these locations, because before Ghost Hunters came out, I try and get in locations, and then people thought I was crazy because it was kind of taboo to talk about stuff like this before Ghost Hunters.
Right.
And their show came out, and then Ghost Adventures came out. They made it mainstream, where people were okay to talk about this out in public and let you in locations and not, be ridiculed that they were crazy. So that's what when I say without these TV shows, a lot of us wouldn't be doing what we do nowadays, being able to get in these locations, commercial locations.
Agreed. Very much so. So I have another question for you. Was there ever an investigation that you had to shut down because activity got too rough or out of control?
No, because I didn't shut it down. I would have kept on going, but I'm kind of naive about stuff. We had the old the Hales Bar Dam in Tennessee.
That's what I figured you were going to say.
Yeah, we had to shut
Yes, please tell us about that.
Well, first off, we probably should have shut it down in the beginning because there was really bad weather going on. But I'm like, we're in a dam. If anything goes on, it's not going to hurt us.
Yeah.
And we were down in the tunnels, We were in like, if anyone's been to Hales Bar Dam, they have these tunnels which are spooky on their own, but they were filled with water, like about ankle deep water. So it looks like you're going through the sewers and stuff. Made it even more, the creep meter was even more, the creepiness. And we're inside the building, and Tina didn't want to go in because something's, not spiritually, but something dark was bothering her. So I was like, all right. She sat out in the car with our friend Jonathan. So we're in there investigating. All of a sudden, we're down these tunnels, and you start hearing, it sounds like a horn. And I'm like, is that a horn beeping? I think it is. So we get up to the top part. I can see lights flashing. So we come down there, and it's pouring rain because there was tornado watch coming down, I guess.
Wow.
There's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it looked like in Florida when a hurricane's off the coast. I never seen so much rain. So when we got to the car, I admit Tina was not herself. She was acting really weird, and she was petrified of what, I guess something came at him at the car. What Tina could see. And my friend Jonathan, he's really good friends with Tina and me. He took me aside and said, hey, we got to go now. And I'm like, why? What's wrong? She's acting weird, like something might be, I don't want to say possessing, but kind of affecting
attached.
her.
Yeah.
Attachment or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, if someone's like that, then I'll shut it down. I don't know if it's just because I'm skeptical still or naive about stuff. I'm the guy, when you hear a bang or you hear like a scream, I'm running towards because I want to see if it was something natural or something paranormal someone can't explain. So, yeah, that night we had to shut it down. We got all in the van and took off. And when we got back, Teresa Lynch, they were with us. Paranormal Mysteries was there. Well, not all of them. Jay and Teresa were there, and Tina. But we got back, and she had to do a cleansing of her. And it took a while. Tina was in their room for a while, and she was doing stuff. I'm not really much into the cleansing and that. I've had people do the sage around me. Mm-hmm. But I'm not on I'm more of being with Tina now. I'm learning more about the stones and
You're learning about the woo-woo stuff.
Yeah, I've never really gotten into that side of it. I'm the type of guy, and I'm not really on the technical side where it has to be just, tech equipment. I'm kind of the guy that rides the fence. I like to use my gut instinct when I'm out there.
Okay.
If I get a feeling that I need to go to this area, I'll go to that. I'll say, hey, let's go over here. I tell people that too when they're investigating with me. I go, if you got your sixth sense or your gut's telling you something's pulling you to this room to do an EVP session, let's go.
Right.
Trust it.
Right.
And I always tell people, people always ask, oh, what equipment should I get when I'm starting out? I'm like, well, don't go pay $1,500, $2,000 for equipment. Just go get yourself a recorder. And nowadays, you don't have to buy a camera anymore because we got cell phones with better cameras. So I just tell people, just get and technically you don't have to get a recorder anymore because most phones got a nice recorder on them. So I just tell people, all you need is a recorder and something to take pictures to start off. And I go, and then network with other teams that have equipment and see how it works out in the field. Because sometimes I feel people's energy help. I'm a big person about energy. I get vibes off people in that. But I think sometimes people put their energy into a piece of equipment, believing. And if you're not putting all your energy into something, it might not work for you. But, Dave down the road, he's got that ghost box working like clockwork, So I try not to kapootie too many pieces of equipment.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. That was one of the things with the group I used to be with was, we were a teaching group. We would invite the public to come with us on hunts, not investigations, just public hunts that we would set up every month to teach them how to use the equipment. And mainly we would tell them, come a couple months in a row, try out different pieces of equipment. Don't go out and spend $200-300 for a bunch of equipment and you're going to only end up using the one piece because that's the one you're most familiar with, the one you're most happy with, the one that works the best for you. Use the different equipment, get used to it, see what gels with you, what works best for you. To this day, I do not have a recorder because, like Tina, 9 times out of 10, I can hear them, so I don't usually record them. For me, it was taking pictures, and I got really good at it, and I got better results than most people. Yet we had people on our team where EVPs were their thing. There were people that could be in the same room with this woman, and everybody has a recorder running, but she would get EVPs like nobody's business. For whatever reason, it just seemed to be like they were standing right in front of her, speaking into her recorder. So it just, everybody gets, like you said, everybody finds their thing, their piece of equipment that works best for them. So, yeah.
And that's why I tell people I don't feel there's any wrong way to investigate. Everyone has their own techniques, their own style. The only thing I ask people is be respectful. And yes. I know Sherry said in the thing about abandoning an investigation due to outside security issues or client drug use. Mm-hmm. I did a residential. My friend Pam and I. It was a trailer home, and we came in because another team requested if we could help. We were in the area because another team had gone in there and told the lady she had demons and she needed to go stay at her friend's house, go back the next day, get her stuff out before nightfall. And I'm like, oh no, are demons like vampires? They only come out at night? What's going on here? So I thought it was funny. But when we got there, I was very respectful. My friend Pam, that was on my team back in the day, she was my psychic medium. We went into this house, and honestly, it was like one of those houses you see on, God, what is that? Where they have all the clutter.
Hoarders.
Yeah, hoarders, yes. That's what this house looked like. And then the lady made a comment when I went in. She goes, just when you walk down the hall, stay to the right. I'm like, why am I staying to the right? Yeah, I almost went through the floor because I didn't stay to the right.
Oh, no.
Then we get back to the lady's closet, and there's like a weird smell. So I open the closet. I'm looking around. She got like black mold growing up the back wall.
Oh.
And and they were right next to the main power thing. You could hear it buzzing out back. So we investigated for about 40 minutes, and my friend Pam started getting sick. She has asthma and all that. She's like, I can't breathe in here.
Yeah.
So we left, and I actually just shut it down. We went and talked with the lady, and I told her, listen, don't worry about anything paranormal. She had a teenage daughter. I go, you need to – someone gave her the church she went to, put her in this trailer home as a what is it? Pay as your – or you're paying rent to own. So
okay.
She's paying. And I told her, listen, I go, whoever's renting this to you, you need to get them in here to get the mold out of the back room, fix the floor, because you're going to fall through that floor and no one's going to know you're there if your daughter's not around. So I just shut the investigation down. It was like, sometimes you got to be honest with these people, you know. I guarantee the other group that went in there probably saw the same things we did and thought it'd be cooler. Oh, you got demons in there. You just got to get out of there. Just be honest with me. I tell people are like, oh, doesn't it suck though when you go to an investigation, a residential, and there's nothing paranormal, it all turns out to be regular, just something normal? I'm like, no, actually, I find that rewarding because sometimes when you go to these commercial or residential, these people are so freaked out because they've watched too many exorcism movies or things. They're ready to pack up and leave. And I come in and give them some reasonable answers of what's going on, especially a child involved. You can show the kid, hey, this is what's setting this off. It's not paranormal, it's not something evil.
Right.
I feel more rewarding that helping a family out than having that golden EVP I can share on Facebook with all my followers.
Right. Right. No, I totally agree. I totally agree. I would much rather have something simple and be able to debunk it and have the homeowner or business owner, I can show them, because basically it isn't like not everybody's looking to be on TV. Some of them just want peace of mind, and to be able to give that to them that night or that next day when you call them just means so much to them. That they're not crazy. You heard it or saw it too. So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, I always tell people, I have friends that have been on TV shows. Whippy-doo. Mm-hmm. They're nothing. They're not better than you. They're not better than me. And if I got on a TV show, I wouldn't think I was better. They just got an opportunity to be on TV. Right. They're not doing anything different than we are. It's just they got the opportunity. That's why when I see people falling all over people that have been on TV, or they fall all over me because oh my God, you were talking with him? I'm like, yeah, I'm friends with him. And it's like, you know who's like that? Do you know Brian Canu?
Yes, I know him very well.
Brian is so awesome. He did an event here in Florida a few years back. And whenever I see him, we don't even talk paranormal. We talk about geeky stuff, Star Wars, Marvel movies. And I don't know if that's why he just likes, when he comes, we hang out. I don't know if that's why he likes. Most people are like, oh my God, I got to tell you this story, this paranormal thing. And that can get tiring after a while. I just talk about geeky stuff. But I don't see him as a para celebrity, because I had met him before he was on Haunted Collector. I met him when he was with his friend Chris doing Scared, I think it was. Yeah. So I know. I remember Chris too. Hey, Bob, we are pretty much almost at the very end of our show already. That was amazing. Thank you so much. You promise me you'll come back, because we have like sheets of questions to ask you. I know. That's funny. I'm a gabber. Anybody that knows me, I can talk all night. Yeah, I'll definitely come back. Certainly. Good. Well, can you please tell everybody where they can find you? You can check me out on YouTube. It's Paranormal WaveLengths. And that's all I got the YouTube channel. Facebook, you can find me too under my name or Paranormal WaveLengths. It's something I came up with 11 years ago now. Wow, 2009. And the reason I started was just to actually help educate myself and hopefully educate people in the chat room. So check it out. Perfect. Well, you guys can always find me at facebook.com/Illuminating the Paranormal. And let me see, next week I will have here, let's see, it is going to be, let's see, oh yes, Kat Young and Tessari Hughes, also known as the Mountain Gypsies. So tune in next Tuesday to hear what those two crazy women are up to now and what they have planned for this upcoming paranormal conference season. So I will see all of you guys next week. Have a very good night. Bye.